everybody. This is Keith Gleason, host of Indie Comics Relay, creator of the Mighty Mascots, and promoter for the Plastic City Comic Con. And I'm back with another comic review. Before I get into the review, just a quick reminder that Mighty Mascots 1 through 9, along with all my Mighty Mascots merch and my old previous comics that I've worked on, are all available now on my website, recklesssidekick.com or heroenvy.com. And I'm going to try to get all the digital issues up on Global Comics at some point too, as well. You know, now that I have all the rights back, I'm planning on building my own little merchandising empire, surrounded by my website, Reckless Sidekick. So if you haven't gotten the issues, check them out. Make great Christmas gifts and, great reading, all ages, so a lot of fun. And I love making it. So check it all out. All right, let's get into this week's comic review. So the book I'm reviewing today is called Stuff of Nightmares, Red Murder. Now, this is a book from Boom Studios. This is created and written by R.L. Stine, illustrated by Adam Gorham, colored by Francesco Segala, with assistance by Gloria Martinelli, lettered by Jim Campbell. It's so a short summary of this book. I'm going to read you the two sentence summary off of the Boom Studios website. Comic creator Alex Oaxaca, I think that's how you say it, Oxaca, Oaxaca, I think. I'm horrible with names. Has been out of the spotlight for decades, and he'll wish he'd remained in obscurity soon enough. A real axe murderer cosplaying as the titular hatchet-wielding killer in his early 2000s smash hit series, Red Murder, starts chopping down equally real victims at a horror convention. So that's the quick summary of the story. And I don't want to go into it too deeply because, I don't like to give spoilers because I'd rather people read these books because indie comics is where it's at, so I want people to check this out. Now, the reason I think you would be interested in Stuff of Nightmares is if you love stuff, it's such a love letter to Creepshow, to Tales from the Crypt, to those horror anthologies. They even have their own horror hosts, and obviously you must have heard the name R.L. Stine, which he's known for numerous horror novels, especially for kids, like the preteen kind of horror, kind of books that I don't, honestly, I never read a lot of that stuff. I think I was too old when the R.L. Stine books were coming out. And but I knew a lot of people that really loved him. And more recently, R.L. Stine's been doing a lot of comics, which is great. Like the first thing I saw him do was like a Man-Thing series from Marvel Comics, and I picked it up and I really liked his take on that. So I was kind of curious about what other comics that he would do, and he started doing this Stuff of Nightmares series for Boom Studios. There was like a mini series that came out, I believe, last year. It was like a 4-issue mini of Stuff of Nightmares. And then this one shot that just came out, the Red Murder. This is probably about a month or two old. I'm like a little behind on my reading, but I read it. As soon as I read it, I had to run to the microphone and do a review on it. But yeah, it's really fun. Like it's, and I think why this one resonated with me a lot is like, it is about, a killer, but it's also like about the comic industry a little bit, because it's about a creator that, creates this horror comic called Red Murder. And he's like, sort of like, I don't want to say like a Punisher type, but like a serial killer hero kind of thing, where he kind of runs around in a black mask and a hatchet killing people. But it's also like, it's funny. The first couple pages of the book are supposed to be pages from the actual comic book series, the Red Murder. And it has like an origin almost similar to like Flash or something, where the guy gets pushed into a bunch of vials of tainted blood, and the blood gets all on him. and once it starts seeping into his skin, he like can't go on with, he has to drink blood because it's like his body needs it, and the thing that made me laugh is when he goes to kill people, he pulls out an axe and he'll go, "Welcome to the murderverse," and he chases right after him, which is kind of funny. I just got a kick out of that. But the whole series kind of revolves around that, like a creator that's kind of down on his luck, going to these horror conventions and, people not remembering him, but also at the same time, his creation has become like this huge smash hit. But then, someone starts murdering people at the convention. And then there's also a little subtext there about, kind of referring to the old school comic creators and how when they created something, it was all work for hire, and they didn't get much money from the movie, the movie sales and like any kind of merch that came out, so it kind of resonated with me a lot on that, and it's all wrapped up in a nice package with, with a horror host. The horror host of Stuff of Nightmares is called the Nightmare Keeper, and he often talks about how he has this museum or this collection of just items, and he calls them nightmares, but he also likes to tell you the story behind the nightmares, and that's what the comic ends up being, is like his story about that. I highly recommend the first miniseries. Now, instead of doing like Tales from the Crypt where each issue is one horror story, the first miniseries was actually a full story done in 4 issues. So it was like one long story. So that was kind of neat. It was different. It was kind of like a take on like the Frankenstein kind of storyline, but a modern take of it. And then this one shot just came out, Red Murder, which is the story I just told you about with the horror con and everything. And they got one coming out for Christmas, which looks like a demented Santa Claus. So it looks like this is going to be an ongoing thing, like either as a one shot or mini series here and there, so I really like it. If you're a horror fan, if you like horror anthologies, I think you'll love this book. Kind of complements the Creepshow book that's being put out by Skybound and Image, except that, with R.L. Stine, it gives it a little more street cred, I guess, so, but the artwork by Adam Gorham was really good too. He drew the scenes of murder, like where the Red Murder is chopping up people. Like it's really well made, like, and very, very dynamic, and the gestures are crazy. Good storytelling techniques. All the faces look great. The characters look good. You can tell everybody from each other, so that's always a good sign. But I always base the artwork on, if you took the lettering out, would you be able to follow the story? And I think this comic does do that well. Like you can just kind of page through it and you can follow it. And, if you just page through it at the store and just looked at it, you could kind of get an idea of what the story was going and what was happening in there. So I think Adam Gorham did a great job. Never heard of him before, but he's on my radar now. I think he's a really solid artist. And I got to admit, I've been enjoying a lot of stuff from Boom Studios lately. They've been really up in their game. They're kind of becoming like the next Image, with a lot of different projects, a lot of cool little things, the Berserker comic and a few other ones that are any stuff with Matt Kent that I really like. And then this, I'm a sucker for good horror anthologies. So I definitely think it was worth it. The lettering was good. The colors are nice. It's all around great package. So I definitely say check it out. So it's a one shot. It's probably about 48 pages. It looks to be, it was a little pricey. It was $7.99 for this. But like I said, it was about 48 pages or so. So I know that's becoming like the standard price for comics. If you can get it on a deal, like I know a lot of comic stores throughout the year do discounts, Black Friday at certain times of the year, free comic book day, things like that. If you can get this at a cheaper price, like 25% off, I think it's a no-brainer to grab. But if you're a horror fan like me, I do recommend it. I think you'd like it. And if you like R.L. Stine, I think it's a no-brainer to get this one. So, but yeah, that's it, everybody. That's my review for Stuff and Nightmares Red Murder. I'd say check it out when you can. Join us every other Monday night for our live streams with comic creators. We just had a really good one last night with a comic creator that, you know, found comics and found a reason to live. Like, you know, he was put in prison for 18 years for a murder he didn't commit, but he, instead of, you know, choosing to like wallow in self-pity and like, you know, grief, he turned his life around and decided, and now he's making a comic book, you know. So really, really cool stuff. So we cover some really cool creators on our live stream. So yeah, please like, subscribe, you know, share our channel with people you think would like this content, you know. And yeah, most importantly, have a great week, read comics, and we'll talk to you later. All right, everybody. Bye.